We're sitting with Cory, who is our video producer.
I don't remember how it came up.
Yeah. I reached out on Twitter.
Somehow weather came up, right?
Yes.
When you said there's like a storm or something, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a storm here too.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, Austin's crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not far from Austin.
You guys have known each other for a long time.
I think one way. I've actually been listening to your podcast for years.
When did you start listening to that?
Probably 10 years ago.
We can speak the same language for the most part. I'm not an angel investor.
Yet.
Oh.
Oh, snap.
Oh. This video is sponsored by our good friends at Copper CRM. Welcome to the after show.
Is that what this is?
Woo! Yes.
Party time?
Yeah.
This is the debrief. So we just filmed 6 episodes and
We did.
we want to just like chill out. We're on the couch. We're sitting with Cory, who is our video producer. Makes us feel very legit saying that.
You guys are legit.
And we're just going to have a chat about like how it went filming the podcast and how we feel about things and kind of like where we want to take things.
Yeah, this has been a really fun. I mean, you saw me put on my Instagram, like you guys are like the dream team to work
No.
with. So like this has been so much fun. And you guys did a good job of just like being comfortable, right? Like these huge light. I don't know if everybody can see that, but we got these crazy huge lights, these big cameras, and you guys are like, wow, it's like a bit of a shock, but you like rolled right into it. You guys both were like super comfortable throughout all 6 episodes, and it was fun. I had fun.
I think
Yeah.
that's a testament to you because
Yeah.
I am normally not comfortable even when I'm alone. So the fact that
We've recorded content on this couch and it hasn't been as smooth is that.
yeah, when it's just the two of us. So
Yeah.
I think like having your presence taking care of everything
Mm-mm-mm.
and also like you have a very like patient vibe to you that I don't feel like you're just like, oh my God, I'm bored. I want to get out of here, which would be my fear hiring like someone to help us out with this.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a good synergy.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I feel like even to like have anyone present, like let's say this is all your equipment, you guys set it up, you're making sure it's recording and
Yeah.
the cards aren't full and the batteries are running,
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff. Let's say you were taking care of that. Even just having somebody else in the room kind of creates this like not audience, but like it kind of
Mm.
keeps things going. Whereas like if you're by yourself, even if it's just the two of you, you might be like, this doesn't feel right. Let's start over. Let's stop this. And
Yeah.
it's like when you have an audience, it's like it reminds you that like it's just this is real. It's just happening now. We're not like performing. We're just talking.
Oh, and I mean, even hearing like the little chuckles that you had at time, like it's so nice because it's also like it just shows that you're listening and like it's really like
Yeah.
it was great.
I think there's a lot of ways this could have gone wrong with like the wrong person. So I feel very happy with how it went.
Sweet.
So there's been a journey of like how we even got here. You guys have, I'm going to put known in quotations of each other, known each other for a long time.
I think one way
Yeah.
I've known of you. I was consuming your podcast, like every episode of it.
I mean,
Ten-
it was like not my podcast, but it was a podcast that I was like I guess a co-host on. There's like a 3-person podcast, and I was one of those 3s. I was producing that podcast, and you were listening to that podcast
Yes.
since I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Like when did you start listening to that?
I feel like probably 8 to 10 years ago.
Dang.
Yeah, and I was listening to every episode. It was one of the ones that I had like auto join in the queue. And it is this weird thing too that I don't think I watched any of the video side of things, believe it or not. I just listened to the podcast. So I had been listening to your voice and I
Right.
didn't even really like make the correlation or connection genuinely until like, I don't know, 6 months ago when we first like started having conversations. And then I
Mhm.
didn't even realize like I've actually been listening to your podcast for years.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's always weird to hear.
Yeah.
And now you guys are gonna get that. I mean, you already had the analysis paralysis podcast, and then now is this a separate one? We can cut this out if it's.
We're not even entirely sure.
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know. We don't
No.
know.
We're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've both had podcasts in the past. Like you had the Blackberry podcast as
Yeah.
well, which like you did religiously on every Sunday.
Berry flow upstream.
And I had a podcast, but honestly, it was just not legit. Like it was a DIY and whatever. I feel like this is the first time I actually feel like it's something. And okay, so wait, you listened to his podcast and then you reconnected earlier this year. Was that this year? Yeah, it was.
Is it December, November?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember there was like a big storm. Yeah, this is the
No,
interesting part.
Was it in
Yeah.
February then? 'Cause
Oh.
it's free?
Oh.
Or maybe I think it was another power outage.
Oh,
Oh, it was during this around the Zapier time?
yes, which would have been in February.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So earlier this year,
Oh
Yeah.
my
apparently.
god.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Wow.
gosh.
I know. We're all like, whoa,
Yeah.
time. Oh my gosh. um, so yeah, we were talking and you, I don't remember how it came up, but it
Yeah.
was like, I think somehow
I reached out on
somehow
Twitter.
weather came up, right?
Yes,
Which it
yes.
wasn't just like, oh, how's the weather? It was just
Yeah.
like, I don't even know, but weather came up and you said there's like a storm or something. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a storm here too. And you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, Austin's crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not far from Austin.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like
Yeah,
that, right?
yes.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah, then I was like, okay, I gotta come up and see you
Yeah.
guys. So the rest is
Yeah. I think
history.
like a week later, like you swung by and we just hung out for the day and it was like we were already like we dove into you. I think you were for like 3-4 hours. We got dinner. It was just like it was so
It was fun.
nice. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was very fun.
Yeah.
And then after you left, because you had told us like your company is called Behind the Scenes and you do like behind the scenes videos for like films and stuff like that, and you want to do more of that. So I like looked up, I subscribed to your YouTube channel when you were here,
Aw.
and then you left. And then Alex and I like went and like binged watched
Yeah.
like your videos and we're
Didn't I
like,
come back later that same day?
Oh yeah.
oh,
Didn't I think
yes,
I
yes,
did?
actually,
I was like,
yes.
these people are way too cool. I gotta go back. Because I
Yes,
was in town filming
yes,
some sport,
Yeah.
like
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
basketball or something.
yes.
Or is it football? I think it's basketball.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, actually, I'm done now. Like, I
Yeah.
could come back over. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, it's so much fun. But yeah, we started talking like YouTube content and just like all kinds of stuff. I think we even got like really deep too, like on personal
Yes,
stuff. And it was
yes.
just, I guess that's a testament to you guys of how comfortable I felt like sharing with you guys. And it was, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember after you left, I said to Alex, I'm like, "How can we work with him?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Do you think we can make this happen?" And he was like, "I want to too." Like we were on the same page and we hadn't talked about it. So we were like, yeah, just chuffed. Is that a word? Chuffed to be
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. It's a British term. They say, I'm chuffed to bits.
Okay.
That's what they say. And
I
that just means
probably picked
like,
that up
yeah,
somewhere in Australia or something.
apparently. Yeah.
But yeah, we were just glad that we got to do it. Okay, so we like take us a little bit through the behind the scenes of what the setup was like. I think it was it more than you
Yeah.
were anticipating? It's more than I thought.
Yeah. Oh, you
So,
came out of the room and you were like, "What happened here?" Yeah.
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
that's right.
in the
Because we moved
best
the
way.
couch, we moved
Yeah. We
the
didn't know anything
table.
we do. Yeah.
Yeah, we moved a lot of stuff. No, yeah. So yeah, I think it's not necessarily that it took more than I was anticipating, but I took a lot longer than I've ever taken setting up. And I don't know why that is. I could be partially, it's probably like a lot of reasons, but I think one of them is like, usually I'm alone.
Mm,
And like, I wanted to like catch up too.
yeah.
And so it was like, I was a little bit distracted,
Yeah.
but I think that partially was it. But also we kept like, um, coming up with ideas. Like first we thought maybe we'll shoot at the table.
Yep.
Ooh, the couch would be a better vibe. Is there enough room? And so eventually we moved the couch back and then it was a fun thing. And then you helped me like rig these
Yeah.
these podcast arms. So yeah, it was fun though.
Yeah.
You brought this huge light. Like maybe you can even put a photo on the screen to show
Yeah,
people,
we
but
should.
Yeah.
it is like a sun in our living room. And we have 3 cameras,
Yep.
like the most legit mics. Like it just
We weren't
feels
expecting it to be like
no.
we genuinely thought in one way that you're gonna have one camera, but then it's like, oh, probably two
Probably
because
two,
you'd have
yeah.
one for each person.
Yeah.
But then you're like 3, and then it's just like, oh my gosh, this is actually a lot more than we were expecting.
That's honestly like one of my favorite things to hear from anyone that I work with or like collaborate with or like shoot a video for, like friend, family. They're like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Because I mean, this has been like years of accumulating.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So,
I think it's a testament to like you because we are business owners, which means we are by nature control freaks. So when we like wanted to work with you, we actually didn't even think to like ask you of any specifics because we just trusted you entirely, which I think is rare because if we had hired someone that I had no trust, I would have gone into like micromanage
yeah.
mode.
Mhm.
The only thing I asked for because Alex the night before was like, is he bringing lights? And I was like,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. Like, I'm like, of
Probably,
course.
maybe.
Because we had kind of talked about that before,
Mhm.
how I was like, is the lighting going to work? And you're like, we have lights, don't worry. But then I had to ask because I'm like,
Yeah.
imagine that would be horrible. And then I
Because we
feel
knew we were gonna go
accountable.
into the night. Yeah.
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 And as everybody can see, like this is just the coolest setup. Like you got like windows galore. So it just looks so good.
Yeah.
So, and then they won't be able to see this, but there's these curtains or these shades that kind of come down And so we had fun making that just right because you don't want to let in like too much light because
Yeah.
then like that competes with the lights that you set up. So you kind of want to like, so yeah, we kind of, I feel like we dialed it in just right. We moved some plants around and
It
yeah.
it was so funny too, because like we had recorded a couple episodes and then the sun was going down. So then you got to fine tune the lights, bring them closer and tweak them. And you're like, this looks so good. And we're like, no, like the first two, and you're like, no, those looked amazing too. But
Yeah,
like now I have more
yeah.
control over the lights. Andra was nervous about going into the night with the
Mm,
sun down because it's the whole like natural light thinking and all of that.
right,
But
right,
like,
right.
so that was also a learning experience too. We were like, it was even trying to start earlier because we wanted to get the daylight in. And we're actually like, wait, maybe at night looks better.
It kind of worked and it's
Yeah.
consistent too, you
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
So we were up till 2:30 a.m. last night. We filmed one episode at midnight.
Yeah.
yeah, we
After
did.
dinner. Yep.
We started at like 11:30 and I think we wrapped up around 12:30, which is not what I was expecting, but I
Mm-mm.
guess when you have a son in your living room, like these things are made possible. Okay, next topic. I want to talk about our hopes and dreams of what this sounds way too deep, okay? Just we've enjoyed working together, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And like want to hear from both of you. Like what would you like this podcast to turn into? Alex and Corey, you might have separate thoughts and I'll share mine as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think well, you and I have been talking about these stories and we've told these stories. We even had gone on a different podcast kind of talking about parts of it, but what we were essentially saying is like I wish we could have just told this together cuz like these stories individual is it misses so much context. So, I think we're like telling this together, having genuinely for posterity for the fact that like we could look back on it in the future. That
Yeah.
was like the main thing.
Right.
But I think like it's just also yeah, I'm with the mindset, if no one watches this, I'm still cool with it. I feel like it was an investment in ourselves, in the story, and we're just like we're excited to be able to do this along the way. Obviously would love for people to watch it and to be able to say like have some sponsors and things like that, just so we can
Hmm.
keep doing it and do more of it.
Right.
Because that like this is I don't know. I've had YouTube shorts that are like, Alex, you suck at content. And I do. Like it's like this level where when I'm put on the set in a way and I have to go, I just like lose all energy and everything.
Mm.
And I haven't felt that. And I'm just like, this is actually
Same.
like unlocking something in me that I didn't think was possible. And it makes me want to do more of it. Like I don't want you to go home.
Yeah,
So it's
That's
a
the
weird, it's a
best.
really weird
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't expecting that.
To feel how you felt when like creating the content, which is
Yes.
basically just talking about things you care about,
Yes.
things you have experience with, things you enjoy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I like don't want it to end and I want to do more of it and figure out more ways to work together. So
I've like already fantasized about like you moving into the building. And I was like, wait, I wonder if there's any like apartments open. And I'm like, he didn't ask for that, Andrea. Reel back your dreams.
But so what else do you know about me? That I'm living with my wife's grandmother right now.
What
Which
does
is
that
not ideal.
mean?
we could just
It means I need a place to
we
live.
can get a 3 bedroom.
Can we? Are there even units? I think
Ooh, I
there's
don't.
one
There
and
might
it's
not be
fourth
a
floor.
corner unit though,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
and that's that's
yeah.
vibes. That's vibes
Yeah.
for days.
Or we can, yeah, we'll see.
So
Stay
what okay,
tuned.
what about you? What are you looking or what I guess what how do you even ask that question?
I mean, I think for you, maybe it's a little bit more difficult to say, but
Well, yeah, because I'm okay. So I'm like bystander listening to all 6 of these episodes that we recorded, and super fascinating to listen to like your story together as like a couple. There's like really really cool crazy stories about like all kinds of stuff, but also it's like on the technical side too, which is just that's just fun. Um, I think what might be I don't know how it could happen, but like somehow getting other companies' voices in an episode. Like, I don't know what that could look like. But I feel like that can be fun to like this episode features this person or this company somehow. That could be fun. I don't know what that could look like. Something to chew on maybe, but
I think we're all like on the same page as like we don't like ads.
Yeah.
And I think like we did record some ads. And for someone that may have listened to the 6 episodes, maybe you heard some ads, maybe you didn't. Depends on if the company wanted to sponsor
yeah,
us. So yeah, I think we made our ads intentionally very conversational and very real. And we only want to take sponsors from like companies we're aligned with. So
yep,
I like the idea of like, yeah, if there's like the founder wants to come in, not for an interview, because I think interviews are kind of like I prefer discussions
Mhm.
if there's some kind of like snippet. But yeah, to be
right,
determined,
yeah.
TBD. For me, I think I just really enjoyed like, yeah, talking. I feel like I had all this buildup of all these stories and we were talking about the same stories over and over for like a year. And now we just like release them. And now we're going to have room for more stories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
That's a
almost
good
like
point.
therapeutic in that way. And I felt very comfortable, way more comfortable than I imagined that I would have. Just like, I guess, like speaking to the content and talking to you. And it was just nice to do this with you as like a partner. Like, I feel like you're actually a great co host.
No. Well, I mean, it's we both literally had podcasts on our own. Like when we had met, that
Mm,
was one of the things that is like, wait, you have a podcast? I have a podcast. Like it's not even just like I listen to podcasts. It's
yeah.
like we each have a podcast. So it was all this. I think we knew one of the first days we met that we were going to do a podcast together. We just didn't know
Mhm.
when or what it would be, or we had to come
Yeah.
up with the stories ourselves. Like we had to live life to have something to talk about.
We
Mhm.
alluded to this a little bit, but we started recording our conversations from like the first 3 months in. And we have all of these recordings.
Nice.
Not that I think they're worth going back to, but we just wanted to like have them in case we wanted. Our initial idea was to record ourselves in like our normal day to day. And we actually reached out to someone and asked him if he wanted to produce a podcast, if we just send him all the content and he can like create a storyline out of it. And he was not interested.
We sent
Oh, dang.
over one. It was a lot to put on, and
It was a lot of work
yeah,
because it was like, say, 2 hours of a
very
conversation,
raw.
and
Like
I think he was trying to honestly focus on his own business.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, I understood, like, obviously, it was not meant to be, this is way better.
yeah,
Yeah. Wait, did we ask you, like, what are your future hopes, dreams, goals for the podcast? What are some
yeah.
things you would wanna do?
I just really enjoy doing this. Like, I feel like so congruent and like almost like in my element. And I feel like it's been like a long time that I've thought about doing something like this. There's a lot of like podcasts that I admire. And Alex like made a joke this morning. He's like, I feel like you're living your best life. You're like Sham Boudram.
Yeah.
Sham Boudram's my favorite podcast host, and I've listened to her for ages. And yeah, not that I'm comparing myself to her, but it's just nice to get to do this.
And it's not just like filler content of like, "Oh, let's just put something out." Like,
Yeah.
you both were clearly like, "We wanna talk about this so bad," like,
Yeah, yeah.
very passionate, and so, like, that definitely came across, and so, like, I think that's also part of the excitement that you're feeling is like, "I'm talking about
Yes.
stuff that, like, really matters to me," so it always feels
Yeah,
good.
and I want like, what I would love for this to continue on is, like, discussions, even if it's, like, we're working through something and we wanna, like, record a podcast about some of the conversations that we've had with that point in our life with, like, an outline, not, like, just a complete free for
Mhm.
all, but,
Mhm.
like, here's, like, what we're thinking. Like, for example, right now, we're in the middle of a pivot with the business. We have the automation business that has sustained us, and it's, like, our core business.
Mhm.
And then we have our website, Efficient App, which is evolving to be more of like a place for companies and teams to look at if they're selecting software. Still learning how to even talk about that. Like,
Yeah, I
what would
mean,
you add on to that?
essentially just explain there's so much software that exists, and it's like just picking out the best software and letting people know when they should be using what, and then even what works well together through integration. And in a way, it's just like brain dumping all like we've been working with businesses for over a decade to implement software, and we've integrated so much software. So we're kind of just like taking our brains and just throwing all of this information onto the website to just help people. And it's like, great, can we just share this stuff and find some way to make money from it? Through sponsorship, something like, can we just give this information out at scale and figure out a business model? So there's no pressure on the business model right now because we actually have the business of integrating, but we're like, can we figure out something else in this realm? And it's probably around content to some degree.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be anything that is not in alignment in the sense that we're taking sponsorship from companies we wouldn't actually
Yeah.
recommend or
Right.
use. And I think what's out there in terms of like YouTube content when it comes to software is there's a lot of comparisons and a lot of people talking about software that they don't use.
Yeah. You can always tell when it's like, okay, clearly the company sponsoring this, like, has enough money that they, like, got this person because 'cause they're like I feel bad saying it, but it's like, "Alright, this is sponsored by NordVPN." It's like, "Do you
Yeah.
even use
Yeah.
that?"
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Maybe they do, maybe they love it, but I feel like I see that everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I wonder if this person's just kinda like, I have no confidence with most, like,
Yeah.
ad reads, and that's what they
Mhm,
are, it's an ad
mhm,
read. It's like, "Say
mhm.
this, say that, say this." Some companies are getting a little bit better about like, "Hey, say what you want. We like what you're doing. Keep
Yeah.
doing it. Just give us like some type of shout out or like put our logo in the front. Like it's like I feel like some companies are understanding that there's like the minimal, like not like in your face stuff is like actually what's more appreciated by the buyer or the customer.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you guys did a little like, well, I don't know if we want to talk about
No,
like,
we can talk about
Yeah.
it, and I mean, this is behind the scenes, so
yeah, it is. It's behind
Okay.
the scenes. So
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Mhm.
like I feel like something that I guess all three of us value is like making it like more a part of the how the content is normally structured. So how the content is normally structured in this case is two people, you guys, talking to each other. So why don't we just like keep doing that so that the listener is not like, oh, this is the part where they do, let me skip, skip,
Yeah,
skip,
yeah,
skip.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
just make it natural. And
Yeah.
like it's so much more interesting because like I know, oh, okay, I'm hearing Andra's actual thoughts about this or Alex's actual experience with this. And like that's just so much more like interesting. And I'm like, maybe I'll try this out.
Well, I mean, I think the thing too that's interesting around that is we recorded a few potential sponsor breaks during like the tail end of all of this, but they were
Yes.
companies we picked the companies
Yes.
because we had stories about them, and two of them were stories that literally that morning you and I were talking about.
Yeah, I
I was just
know.
pitching you on software based on a need that you
It was
had,
so
and it's like,
perfect.
why don't we literally just talk about that? So it's there's a genuine story that just happened, and yeah, it is this thing where it's like, let's not force it if we don't have an interesting story or an
Yeah.
interesting like that it just feels congruent that way. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they might not be up for it, and that's also like cool. We'll just sponsor the episode ourselves. So we literally had to pull our video producer in for this one because this morning you were describing to me about how you were looking for a tool that would help you in your business. And what is the general gist of what you were explaining that you're looking for?
Yeah. I mean, I went to you because you like this kind of stuff. And I was just like, man, I have this problem. Like, I have this idea of wanting to like have like almost like a dashboard. I didn't really know the right words to use. Like a dashboard of like different clients that I have, like the ones that are currently active clients, the ones that like are hot leads, and like maybe they've done this or they have paid, they haven't paid. That'd be so cool, right?
Yeah, and I was just sitting there with the biggest grin. He's just going and going and explaining all the stuff that he wants, and I just had the biggest grin on my face. And then finally, he stops talking, and I was like, "Okay, so it sounds like you're looking for Copper CRM, and you're literally looking for the thing that we do for businesses." And he's like, "Yeah, but I wanted to like trigger emails to send out at certain times." It's like, "Yep, everything you can do that in Copper." So
You're literally describing
yeah,
a CR.
yeah. So Corey, you're gonna go into our link in the
Okay.
description. You're probably gonna be putting it down there, and you're gonna go check that out. Sign up for Copper, and let us know what you think. Does it work for what you're looking for?
I'm down to try it.
Cool.
I feel like any company seeing that video would
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
crazy not to like invest in that.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it was just so happenstantial that that morning we were talking about it, it was mind blowing. And again, just to add to that like realness piece, like you really believed in what is Mercury?
Yep.
Mercury? Yeah. Um, and so like that, like I'm interested. Like it's basically like hacking word of mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would try something because I have a personal relationship with you and you're recommending it to me. And you have no other like agenda other than like, oh, I know Cory and it sounds like this could be a good fit for him.
Yeah.
Like so that's how word of mouth works. It's like, oh, like if you guys are like, I've worked with Cory, he was great with video, awesome to work with. Like that stuff is natural. Like so it's kind of just working around that. Yeah.
a fear that I have with the podcast is that we're gonna run out of things to talk about because we are
That's a real thing. Yeah.
very heavy on stories, and what we don't want this podcast to turn into is, like, having guests on and just talking about AI for the sake of talking
Oh
about
no.
AI,
Yeah.
like, just shoot me now.
Yeah, no.
I think everyone is only talking about AI right now. So yeah, we don't want to go down that direction. We don't even want to feel like, oh, we need guests on so we can help with distribution. Cause I think that's like another reason people have guests on their podcast because they're like, oh, we want to get this person who has like 100,000 followers on our podcast so they can promote it and
Yeah.
then we get listeners. So we don't have that desire. When with that comes a fear of like, well, how much can Alex and I talk about? And maybe then, that's why we do episodes every couple of months rather than trying to do a weekly thing.
Yeah.
We don't even know like how often we're going to release,
As
but
often as you have something to share,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
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 And that's where like I like the idea of taking our everyday life and the things that we're going through in the business and having these discussions like live on like building in public.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Those are the podcasts I enjoy most, genuinely. Like the Fathom Analytics, Above Board, Build Your SaaS. Like I feel like it's just like you might not hear from them for a month, but then you hear like in a way why you didn't hear from them for a month. And sometimes it's like we genuinely had nothing to talk about. We were just working on a feature and it's a boring feature, but we have to do it. Like
right. Yeah. I love hearing about people's failures, which I think you guys touched on in some of your episodes. That's more fun for me than the successes. Although I do like those too, but it's like I feel like those are the things we naturally want to share. Is like, oh, I had this big win. I find it more like, yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm unique in that, but like just like hearing the struggles and like, yeah, this one didn't pan out. It's
it's
like,
real. Yeah.
dang. It's like I
Yeah.
don't know. It makes it feel more like because I think if other people are listening and they're like maybe possibly seeing themselves in your shoes, then like they might think like, well, maybe I like they might have some like doubts or whatever. So like to hear that like you failed, it's like, okay, because I think I would fail too, but they're still doing it through the failures. And maybe failure isn't the right word. Some people don't like to use that because it's all like perspective. Like maybe you don't actually, maybe it's not considered a failure. It's just like what's the other word? I don't know. I feel like you used a different word.
But I mean that
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
remember
but
either.
that's why it's like recording along the journey, like as it's unfolding, allows you to share more of that along the way. Cause then it's like great 10 years from now, you can talk about how the one company you invested in made everything and like
Mhm.
it almost like overshadows everything else, or it's not even interesting to talk about. Like right now, what we're doing is so interesting because we don't know if it looks like some things are going well, some things are not going well, and we're like, but for all I know, a month later or 2 months or a year later, like that may totally change. We don't know. You're living in the unknown with us while we're in the unknown, and that's fun to talk about because we can
Yeah.
talk about what might be able to happen or what is definitely not happening because something did not work out. It
Yep.
just feel it's more therapeutic in a way too.
Okay,
Mhm.
so in the nature of building in public, I guess we can share where we're at now as like a timestamp. And
Okay.
then in future episodes, we can share the evolution. So, with, like I said, we have the automation business, and then we're going to call that like efficient company, just for the sake of this episode. And efficient app is like our website and more of the content side of things. So, if we're talking about like revenue from the content side of things, we've made $3,000 so far
Yeah. Eh,
from one partnership that we
Yeah.
had with one company,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and that is where we're at. So other than that, like we're paying for the podcast. We don't have sponsors at the moment, but we recorded ads,
Yeah.
as mentioned, that we're going to
Mhm.
pitch. And then we also have had some companies, I'm not going to name them, but well, one company in particular that
Yeah.
reached out to us and they wanted to do more stuff with us. And they asked, how can we get on your website? And we didn't know what to say to them in full honesty.
Yeah.
We jumped on a call and we kind of
Yeah.
went back and forth. They were like, what are you guys offering? And we're like, well, what do you want? And they're like, how much do you charge? And we're like, well, what do you want? And
Yeah, I know.
at the end of the
Been there.
call, Alex was like, I feel like I was asking her our business model. And I was like, I don't know what it is. So, till this day, it's been about a month. We haven't responded to that company, but it gave us indication that there are software companies that we align with. They are a top pick on our website
Yeah.
that want to do stuff together. So, we're seeing this as an opportunity of like, I don't know if I want to call it a media business, but like, I don't know, what would you call it?
An
Um,
awareness business. I just want more people to sign up for the software and enjoy in the software alongside with
mm.
me.
Yeah.
Um,
You're like enriching their lives personally
yeah,
and then in their business as well. And that feels pretty good.
yeah, yeah.
So if we're building in public, I guess like we can let everyone know. Would we like share figures? No.
Yeah. No, that's literally
Yes, no.
Well, because I don't
no.
want to out a company if,
What do you mean?
well, like a fear that comes up is if like one sponsor pays a certain amount of money and then another one pays less.
Okay, I
And
mean,
then,
just in general, like you don't need to. It is like we are
okay.
at 4 figures in revenue in this business right now.
Okay. Right now
Mhm.
we are at 3,000 four
Mhm.
figures.
3,004 figures. It's that's fine. It's just more the point of I think you had asked us like how much have you done in like affiliate revenue? Because I said that we were
Yes.
doing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
affiliates on the website and I said that we made $0.
Mhm. I was shocked. I
Yeah.
was so shocked
And I
because
think
like you clearly believe in so many like Like, you got your top picks and all this. I was like, "There's no way. He's pulling my leg."
Well, maybe it's because some of these, companies don't offer the best, programs.
True. That's a real
Yeah,
problem.
it is.
It's tough.
It's tough to get someone to actually convert on software to use your link, especially like if you don't
Right.
give me an incentive that I can give the end user versus like use our link. You get nothing.
Mhm.
I'll get 15%, but use our link. It's
Hate
like what
that.
is like
Hate
I've
that.
always had that problem with these partnerships and stuff like that. But that's fine. I think it's just
Yeah.
more of like I don't think that we genuinely can build a business through affiliate through this way. I think we need to go deeper, like partnership with these companies that we're in alignment with and be like, let's do something deeper. Let's do a deeper partnership here versus like, I don't know.
Have you ever reached out to a company that does not offer any type of affiliate program and asked if they're interested in setting that up? So I have, because
Mm,
there's a piece of software on my computer that is, so obviously I'm a video producer. My favorite is DaVinci Resolve. That's a video editing
yeah.
software. But other than that, just like daily use computer stuff, it's called Keyboard Maestro, which is only for Mac right now. But it is like the automation tool to automate literally anything on your computer. Like
That's what you showed us your phone. You're standing over there. You showed us your
yes.
phone. You clicked the button and then the music on your laptop just started going
And I
down.
still haven't even showed you that, but I can do that from anywhere in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
Like that's not like a Wi-Fi Bluetooth thing. I'm very proud of it. I'll
Yeah.
show you later if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
remind me.
yeah.
But anyways, I love this software. Like it's just it's an easy buy.
Yeah.
And you don't you pay once. I love that. Really really cool. But like if they do have an upgrade, you can pay for that at like a slightly discounted rate, which I happily do because I love them.
Yeah.
I reached out to the single owner. It might be
Yeah.
two people, but I think it's just one. I was like, I love this thing. I use it all the time. I tell people about it, but I noticed you don't have an affiliate program. Like, I would love to have more incentive. Like, yeah, the incentive is like I love this product and I tell people about it naturally, but like it's usually like I don't go out of my way to do it. Um, have you ever considered setting up an affiliate program? And I don't leave the email out there. I say, if not, I would love to help you set that up. Because like I'm imagining like they've been here for years.
Yeah.
Surely they've thought about it. I don't think I'm the first person to be like, "Have you thought about this?" And they're going, "Oh my gosh, Corey, you're
Yeah.
so smart." Like they've probably thought about it and haven't for one reason or another. Maybe it's too complicated, blah blah blah. So I reached out and he basically like didn't want to deal with the overhead, I think, of just like I mean, I guess there could be like yeah, it's just another system to have to
Just
manage.
another thing to reconcile. Like if it was a meaningful amount of revenue,
Yeah.
it would make sense. But like we do have some partners that they have an affiliate model and they've been sending us like 150 $200 a quarter.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this is kind of a lot of work. They tell me how much we have to invoice them every quarter. We send them an invoice, they make
Hmm.
payment. Sometimes
Okay.
we accidentally uh they paid too much or something. Like there's been little
Weird.
reconciling things where they've had to
Okay.
fix it the month later or whatever.
But
So
that's hours, that's
it's
time, that's
exactly
yeah.
that it's like
Yeah.
it and that's actually the most amount of affiliate revenue we've ever gotten from and that's
Okay.
still overhead for
But
them.
but that sounds pretty unique in that you had to like create and send an invoice
Yeah.
and like then they'd have to pay that and they might overpay, underpay. Like a lot of the stuff you can just like partner stack or like there's a lot
It's
of like
expensive.
is it?
Partner Stack, I think they
Okay.
start 10 plus grand a year starting.
Really?
Okay. So not
Shoot.
nothing.
Yeah.
So like it
It's
makes sense that like I was very disappointed that he wasn't even like
sure.
willing.
Yeah.
He had already thought about it. He let me know that. Appreciated that I loved and supported the
Yeah.
software, but I was like, "Ah, man.
Yeah.
But he did actually give me it was the option of two things. I'm trying to recall it, but basically like I could give people a 20 or 15% off thing, but it does nothing for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. And it could like be behind the film, right? Like I could make it anything. I could make it Corey McKay behind the film,
Yeah.
whatever. So like I could make it custom, which makes it seem like I'm affiliated with them, which
Yeah.
I kind of liked,
Yeah.
right? But I'm not getting anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang it.
It's nice to there's a company I saw a business model around that's kind of interesting. They're called Secret and
Mhm.
they do like what you said there, like we'll give you 15%.
Yeah.
But they built their own. You unlock access to this and all of these deals by paying us $199 a year. But that you have to do that at a scale where
Weird.
right? Where it's like, if you buy a subscription to our website, you get all of these deals.
Interesting.
That's the only way that that model could work, because 'cause they're gonna source companies that will give them that discount. It's a whole different business model. It's a full like, it's a lot.
Okay, this just came to mind. Kind of tangential. I can never say that word
Yeah, yeah.
to this topic. Like we're talking about, like, oh, how could we make money doing affiliate stuff, right? Have you ever thought about you doing an affiliate program for other people to be your ambassadors?
We have.
Okay,
We actually have a
interesting.
pretty I mean, we've offered I don't even wanna say it on
'Cause we
camera.
might change it.
Yeah, but we
Ah, okay.
offered a substantial amount of money for referrals,
Referrals. Okay, gotcha.
and we just said, "Just send them to us, and if they close and come on board, then you
Okay.
will get that money."
Wait, real quick, is there a difference between affiliate and referral? Is it essentially the same thing? Like I don't
Some
see the
so
difference.
yeah, no, it's,
That's a good question.
we've actually heard some people are like, "Our marketing director hates the term affiliate. We prefer
Okay.
referral." It's some of it
Makes
is li
okay.
in a way, it's like the idea of affiliate sounds like I am just using your link to do a thing, whereas referral is like, I am actually recommending, because
There's more meaning behind that
yeah,
word. Okay.
yeah, but they are interchangeable. I literally have a tag called affiliate/referral because I'm confused. Some companies call it affiliate, some call it referral. It's the same
Apparently
damn
I was
thing.
confused too. Now
Yeah,
we've cleared the air.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So okay, you've done something like that. Okay.
Nobody's actually taken us up on it, though,
Mm,
and we've offered it to certain people, mainly other consultants who are like, "I know so many companies
Yeah.
that need your services," and they wanna, like, make a cut off of the referral, so we offer them a cut, but then I think yeah, it's difficult because we get so ingrained into a business that it's hard to, like there's not yeah, like, most people know businesses that are too small that wouldn't be able to afford our services.
mhm.
And then, yeah, if I mean, till this day, yeah, if we got a good referral, we're like totally open to something like that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how like we could make it easier for people cuz I don't know how you like set it up, but if it was just like a conversation like over email or whatever and it's like, "Oh, hey, if you refer someone, we'll give you 10% or whatever." Like whatever that is. You can just have this like agreement and for the most part people like it just don't take you up on it, I guess. I wonder how we could make it easier. Like, imagine like you guys might even have this. I don't, but like you have like a portal for not just like referrals, but like a portal that like all of your clients go into to get their deliverables, whatever that is, right? That might not be as straightforward for your business model, like, but for me, it might be like this is where you get your video files. So like it could be a site, like a page on my website where they have to like sign in, and it's like maybe my thought process here is like if you create familiar with like I'm always going to this like portal for like my video files or whatever, like in my case. If there's also like a referral spot there where it's like easy click of the button or something. I don't know. Like I'm wondering if like is it a friction issue with people not referring?
I think there's by someone referring your services, like, think of some of our best customers that, like, love the work that we do. There's a lot of risk in them referring what we do to someone else. That someone else could be one of their competitors
Mm,
potentially, because it's like, oh, well, we work with financial services
yeah.
companies. And then, so that's one thing. But aside from that, what upside does our customer get by referring us to more business?
Right.
Couple things. We're going to have less focus on their business in their mind. It could be a thought that they have. Oh, so they're going to be busier. And that's like great for them, but not as good for me. There's also, what if we don't do a great job for the company? Then that looks bad on like if we recommended someone to a friend and then there's no deliverable. I've done this before. I've recommended a friend to another friend and it blew up because one of the friends didn't deliver to the expectations that the other friend had. It ruined their relationship and I'm
Uh,
like, yeah, it's just awkward now because I'm still friends with each
interesting.
of you individually. It's just like the risk associated with it is genuinely not worth it. Whereas I'm trying to put a frame on though, like, would we recommend you to someone else? And it's like, abso-freaking-lutely. But I also don't want a cut of that. I don't give a shit about getting a
True.
percentage of what you
Hmm.
do with someone. I'm like, I know you will be happy using him and he will be happy. Like,
Interesting.
I,
It's worth more to us, like, the relationship with you
yes,
and you just being like, "Cool, thank you," is worth
yes.
more than you being like, "Here's $1,000." Like, I'd
I
be like, "What?" Like, that's
yeah.
not what I want from this
Yeah.
I
relationship.
think that might be exactly the answer then. Like, basically, like, it kind of, like, muddies the waters of, like, is this transactional
Yeah.
because they referred? It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then maybe it puts, like, a slight, uh damper on the relationship. I don't know the right word, but like, yeah, that's interesting. Maybe that's partially why, because it just feels a little bit weird.
I
But
mean, at
maybe
least
most people don't know why it feels weird.
from a congruency thing, I'm very clear with that. I feel like I've been working with software for almost a decade or over a decade rather, and I've tried this affiliate stuff for a while
Mm,
because I'm like, well, I love Copper, so go sign up for Copper, and Copper, can you do something? And they had like reseller thing, so I would actually buy licenses and then I'd resell it. But now I'm like, admin overhead that has been introduced into me, and they also have admin. It was all this stuff. And I'm like, I would rather Copper just know that I'm sending a shitload of business your way and you don't even need to know who it is. It's just like, and then you guys appreciate me by maybe giving me free licenses for our account. Maybe like if there's a good customer that you see could be a good fit for our services, you could recommend us to them because now we're helping your customers. And there's this thing that like
yeah,
everyone's helping each other and it's just genuine. And I'm like, that's the type of stuff that I like more versus like this, yeah, transactional of like, I got you one new customer. And it's
I
like, I know
see.
I got you so many
I
customers
th-
over the
I
years.
think what we're saying after all this is that referrals work with like software where you're like, you use Copper. That's not a person to you. It does something for you. And then it's like, yeah, I would love to make this a transactional thing where I can benefit from it. So I'm going
Yeah.
to tell my friend, hey, use this link. It does this for you. It does this for me. But when it's a person, I think maybe it just doesn't work.
Yeah. I also feel like there's a disingenuousness of if I'm on a phone call with like say a sales outreach and someone's like just giving that initial call and giving some suggestions, I might be like, okay, cool. Like, by the way, I'll send you a link. And if you sign up with that link, then you'll get a 10%
Yeah.
discount. Then I'm like, I feel like you might think that I'm not being genuine about the best solution because I have an affiliate link that you could benefit and I could benefit
Right.
from. And I'm like,
Right.
I actually don't even want you to use my affiliate link because you're not going to take my advice as genuine.
Right.
And
It's
then
this whole dance.
yes, and then it's also like then I genuinely also have anxiety sometimes where I'm like, are they going to use my link? And then I need to reach out to the software company and be like, by the way, this email address might sign up. I don't know if they do. They sounded like they were interested, but I don't know. And now I'm like wasting all this time to try to get like a $20
I
affiliate,
know.
and it doesn't make any sense. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
what is the point of all of this?
Yeah.
I've seen you do that a lot, actually, like more than the affiliate program working.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
you're
yeah.
mainly chasing it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. I mean, I think this was a fruitful discussion. I think it was fun.
Yeah.
I feel like, we covered affiliate links. That was unexpected.
Not
Behind
really
the
behind the
scenes.
scenes, but it was fun.
I mean, I think this is what happens when you have like people who are in a similar space and
Yeah,
mindset.
true.
You can have like these healthy discussions and talk through
We can
things.
speak the same language
Yeah.
for the most part. I'm not an angel investor.
Yeah.
Yet.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
snap.
I mean, there is.
Follow the journey of Cory becoming an angel investor. We don't know how long it will take, but be our friend long enough and it
Nice.
will happen.
True,
I mean,
true.
you did talk a lot about certain companies that you
Yeah.
like.
It's true. Copper.com/efficient.
That's not our link.
I know. It's just fun.
All right. Are we wrapping up?
Yep.
I think so.
Do. Thank you for being here and for
Thanks
being
for having
you.
me.
And we are like, yeah, I think
Grateful.
this is like the best thing that
Yeah.
we've done.
We had so much fun.
Did not spend money on a wedding. We talked about how we invested in a company rather than getting engagement rings. This has felt like the most ceremonious part of our relationship
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't realize that going into it. I just felt it last night.
Yeah, you said I prepared for
Aw.
this more than I prepared for our wedding, and it just feels
Yeah, I
right.
did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you did say that. That's right. Well, I'm honored. That's so much fun. That's one of the first things I said. I was like, guys, just pause for a second. I feel so honored to be doing this for you. This is so much fun. So thank you for letting me be a part of this, and we'll see where it leads.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
Tune in next time.